hello. Welcome to a Mother's Heart podcast. Good afternoon. Happy New Year. It's 2026. Whoop, whoop. And this is the first podcast of the year. So I'm so excited to be back. Hope everyone has had a great 2026. It's off to a good start. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast that I started on behalf of my late son, Jimmy Ray Mitchell, who passed away in 2021. I felt as though there's a need to come and discuss matters of the heart because our kids are our heart. That's why it's called A Mother's Heart. So I created a space to come and discuss and just a safe place and have great guests like Miss Michonne Landry we have today. And I'm just so happy to have you come on and
Thank
be
you.
the first guest of the year. And
Thank you.
can't wait to hear your story and testimony and just share. And if there's anything you're not comfortable sharing, or I completely understand. So let's talk about how we know each other.
First.
First,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes.
Yep. Yep.
So here we go.
Okay. Okay. Well, we officially met at my cousin's baby showers,
Yes, I remember.
right?
Yes,
And and we are related in a sense, almost, kind
we
of by distance, right?
we
And so
are.
you are the sister, half sister
Yes.
to my late dad's
Hmm.
nephew.
Okay.
Is that right?
I think so.
I
Yes.
think we said it right. We didn't discuss this, so it's
Right.
very, very unedited.
Uh-huh.
And we met at the baby shower.
Hmm.
Like what month was that? September, October?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So not too long ago.
Go. Yes.
Yeah. And then we talked after that
We did.
and got to hear your story.
Hmm.
You heard a little bit of mine,
I did.
and here we are.
Here we are. I know.
Here we are.
Unfortunately, we are a part of a club that we did not sign up for.
Yep.
We have that commonality of losing a child.
Yes.
And so, again, this podcast is a place where we can come and discuss and talk. And my prayer is to help someone that is also going through grief and loss, and just shed some light on the different phases,
Yep.
give some advice and
Yep.
things like that. So, you want to tell us about your son?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. The Veloma Club
Yeah.
is what I discovered. A friend of mine named Cherie.
Okay.
She first introduced that to me. She lost her beautiful daughter Morgan
Mm-hmm.
in an automobile accident, and she first gave me that word.
Mm-hmm.
And
What does it stand for?
it is. You see, now I knew you would ask me that. Viloma,
Well,
Vilomah.
mm-hmm.
People can look it up because Michonne's not going to give it exactly right,
Okay.
but it is the name that you would use for a parent who has lost a child.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when children lose their parents, they're considered orphans,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or if
Mm-hmm.
you lose a spouse, you're a widow.
Mm-hmm.
A Veloma would be equivalent to parents who have lost a
Child.
child.
Okay.
And so, and there's more, in
Yeah.
depth about it,
Sure. Sure.
without looking it up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Veloma Club is not one that I ever thought I would be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Losing a child is never something that I ever envisioned. I don't think anybody
No,
does.
you don't.
We don't have Kleenex here, do we?
We don't. We
we
can
we
get you
need
some.
Kleenex because
Oh
I
my
can
God.
feel.
Yeah, I understand.
Um, but I will tell you that I lost my son
Mm-hmm.
Ellis. He's my oldest child. I have three.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two sons and a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Ellis is the oldest. Alex is my middle child, and Chelsea is my youngest. And I lost Ellis in 2021. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
TLS, get it.
Thank you, Derek.
Our producer.
Yes, I lost Ellis in 2021, Father's Day weekend.
Mm,
Um, it was Father's Day, and I had gone to see my mom and dad,
okay.
and take my dad's card and
Mm-hmm.
um, gift card, and take Ellis's gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Ellis and I, before he passed away, we had started a ritual on Sundays where we would go see my mom and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And we started that in March, February, March timeframe,
Mm-hmm.
and he died in June. And so we had 3 months of that weekly going to see my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I would drive by his house and pick him up, and we would ride for 5 minutes together to my mom's because
Mm-hmm.
they were just 5 minutes apart,
Mm-hmm.
5 to 7. And we would go sometimes pick up lunch, or he would go get lunch with my dad, or go pick it up, go wash my car. Like, that was just our ritual. And so I had actually gone by his house to pick him up like I
Yes.
normally do that morning. And I called before I even left the house. I called. I'd sent him a text first to say Happy Father's Day, and then went by the house or called him.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to reach him and no answer. Um, and then
Was
I
that uncommon for him
yes, well,
to not
yes and
answer?
no. I
Okay.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
you may get his voicemail, but he'll call you back,
Right.
right, or
Okay.
text you back.
Okay.
Um, and I remember driving thinking, well, he may be already there. It's Father's Day.
Okay.
He may be already there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got halfway up the street, Cherie, and for some reason I felt this inclination to um, back my car up
Mm.
and go to the door and
Okay.
knock, right?
Okay.
Because usually I just call, he comes out,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And I drove, backwards, turned around, drove backwards,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It wasn't that far, but
Mm-hmm.
pulled in and went to the door to knock,
Mm-hmm.
right? No answer. And I have a key. And so I went inside, and I remember calling him because Ellis is a heavy sleeper. You know, a tornado could be happening, and he would not hear it.
Okay.
So I'm calling his name and no answer. And I remember walking through the house, and there was a feeling that there was a feeling of he's not here,
But a deeper.
but a deeper.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it, but it was just a different feeling of, oh, he's not here. But I didn't know that
What
he
was?
wasn't there
I
at
got
the time.
you. Mm-hmm.
But I remember feeling that. And so I remember going to his bedroom and calling his name, nothing. I was pleased to see that the house was tidy, and it was like a mom,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
Pleased to see the house was tidy. But when I went to his room, I saw on his bed he has two daughters. Those are my love bugs. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
yaya, which is Greek for grandmother. So those are
Mm-hmm.
yaya's love bugs.
Okay.
And I remember seeing on the bed two dolls or stuffed animals.
Mm-hmm.
And forgive me because I don't remember what they're called right now,
Oh, I
but
understand. Yeah.
they're two stuffed animals, and one represented each child, that
Mm-hmm.
he would have on the bed. And I just thought that was so sweet, And anyway, I ended up leaving, going to my parents. And, I remember my mom saying, well, Ellis, I saw him yesterday. He
Mm-hmm.
came through, and he left, and he was going out, and I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and spent time with my parents. Um, by the time I was getting ready to leave, my youngest sister and my nephew had
Mm-hmm.
come. And so I'm like, okay, someone's here. Let me get ready to go. home because I still needed to, celebrate my husband and
Sure.
spend time with him,
Mm-hmm.
and was leaving. And called my husband to let him know I was leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents live, if anyone's familiar with Southwest Fort Worth, they lived on Risinger, near Risinger and McCart. And I had gotten on McCart, which is not very far from their house.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting a phone call from the police.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time that I was getting a phone call from the police, my husband was calling me and saying, "Hey, the police are at on the ring camera trying to find out what's going on." He was gone doing something.
Mm-hmm.
My son was gone. My daughter was home. But they would not talk to my husband through the ring camera. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted, him to call into a number. And so I said, "Hey, this is them calling me. Let me call you back." And so I remember talking to the officer, and the officer asking me, was I, at home or near being home? And I was still about half an hour away,
Okay.
and so he asked me, if I was sitting down. And I said, "Well, I'm driving. Of course I'm sitting down.
Yes.
What's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he asked me if I could pull over. And I remember pulling over at a gas station at the corner of McCart and Alta Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere I passed many, many times. And he pulled over. I pulled over, and um, he proceeded to tell me that Ellis, had been in a fatal automobile accident. And well, he asked me first if I was Michonne Landry and did I know Ellis Landry, and I told him yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I'm his mother. And then he told me,
Mm-hmm.
that he had been in an accident
Mm-hmm.
and that his body was at the coroner's office, and that I needed to call the coroner's office to get more details. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just saying, "What?"
Yeah, you're just kind of like, because I know
Right,
when I got the call, it was from my son's dad, and when he told me that he was dead, and I just straight up told him I rebuke it.
right,
I'm like, I rebuke this,
right.
and I no.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Um.
Take a second.
Mm-hmm.
Take a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Yeah. No.
no parent should get a call
No.
like
Oh man. No. Yeah. I was at the nail salon,
that. Mm.
and earlier that morning, I talked to my counselor, and I told her how scared I was for him
Mm.
because of what I had saw, and I had talked to Jimmy's dad. I had talked to Michael, and I told them both how scared I was
Mm-hmm.
because he just wasn't himself, and he was on the run from like he just had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so the last day I saw him, like never before, Michonne, it's like a veil was lifted.
Mm.
Like I saw him,
Yeah.
and I knew he was in trouble.
Yeah.
And my plan was to go talk to him and
Mm.
just love on him and spend time.
Yeah.
But I did not get that. I got that call too. So
Mm.
believe me, I my heart is with you, and I
Mm.
understand. I understand.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. At the same time that I was talking to the officer,
Mhm.
David was calling in,
Mhm.
trying to see what was going on.
Mhm.
And I remember the officer asking me, "Your husband is calling me. Do you want me to tell him?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Nope,
Mhm.
no, I'll tell him."
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I didn't want him to get that news
Mhm.
from somebody like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so I called my youngest sister, who was still at my mom's, and I
Mhm.
asked if she was still there.
Mhm.
And she was. And so I told her, I said, "I'm coming back. Um, I think she stated that I was hysterical. I don't remember that,
Mm-hmm.
but I was crying. I don't remember that.
Because it's like you're having an outer body experience,
Yes.
literally. Like you're going through the
Yes.
motions, but
Yeah.
you can't. Like there's some things I can't even.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
And so I went back to my mom's. I drove back to my mom's, and when I got there, I asked her to come to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellis was the first grandchild
Mm-hmm.
for my parents. And while we say, and I say this all the time, while we say there are no favorites,
Mm-hmm. I know. There's something about that.
everyone knew,
Yeah.
something about the first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sitting with me.
Mm-hmm.
Is how will I tell them this?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I first had to tell my sister, and I'd had to tell David.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she got into the car, um, I remember telling her, and this is my sister who I have never ever in my lifetime seen cry.
Mm-hmm. She's like the strong one in the family.
She's the non-emotional, not caring,
Okay.
nothing bothers her,
Mm-hmm.
very nonchalant,
Mm-hmm.
easy go.
Yes.
Yeah, she's just that person, you
Okay.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw her cry like I've never seen before,
Mm-hmm.
and that was
Mm-hmm.
it hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think when she did that, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of
The
hit
reality.
the reality,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, I have to call David. I have to tell David,
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I almost felt like I couldn't tell him without knowing details
Sure.
because I don't think I knew about the accident. I don't even think he told me. The officer said he was in a fatal automobile accident.
Mm-hmm.
I think he told me to call the coroner to find out more details.
Mm-hmm.
But that he was at the coroner's office.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember calling the coroner
Mm-hmm.
and leaving a voicemail, and then eventually calling my husband
Mm-hmm.
to tell him. And then it was a series,
Yeah.
right, of conversations from, you know, um, my nephew came out.
Mm-hmm.
We told him, and then we came in and told my parents. Meanwhile, my husband's having to tell my son and my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're having to tell my grandchildren's
Mm-hmm.
mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
It's
it's
a
just,
domino.
it's a domino,
It
right?
truly
It's a
is.
domino.
Lord Jesus.
It's a domino.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And it just felt like the dominoes just never stopped.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
was very challenging.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
even.
Yeah. Down to the funeral arrangements. My aunt, my brother, um, they stepped in because I couldn't physically do it.
Mm,
I picked out songs,
mm.
but I even had to leave the funeral home because
Remember you told me
I couldn't
that. Yeah,
I couldn't grasp.
yeah. I was the opposite. I was
Mhm.
very, I wanted everything a certain way. I
Mhm.
wanted to, you know, clean out his house. Like that was my way
Mhm.
of coping.
Okay.
I was very opposite. I mean, I was very particular about,
Mhm.
you know, my husband picked out his suit, but just all the
Mhm.
details.
Mhm.
That was my way of coping at the moment.
I understand.
And just getting through,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Earlier that year, in February, I had lost my biological grandfather
Mhm.
and my biological grandmother. And with my grandfather, he lived in Houston, and so I wasn't able to attend the funeral
Mhm.
in person. I was streamed it. It was
Mhm.
we were COVID still time
Sure.
frame,
Yeah.
and with my grandmother, it was even still COVID
Mhm.
restrictions.
Mhm.
And I remember being there and having to not be close to people and wear a mask and all of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And I think with Ellis, I think even though we still had masks, as a matter of fact,
Mhm.
I had a cousin who made a mask that had his name on it, and
Mhm.
he was a big LeBron James fan, so we had
Mhm.
number 23 on
Mhm.
there. But even with that, just even the details, my sister did help me with the obituary, my
Mhm.
middle sister,
Mhm.
um, because I couldn't do that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But yeah, so dealing with and having the loss of a child,
Mhm.
just no parent should have to go through that.
At all. At
Yeah.
all. It's definitely a pain that I tell people it's undescribable. If
Yep.
I could describe the grief journey, I always explain it as the tides of the ocean.
Hmm.
Sometimes they're small,
Yep.
and sometimes they're huge.
Yep. They're riptides.
Yeah, yeah, like there's a hurricane out there,
Yep.
like literally. So,
Yep. Yep.
like I said, my condolences and my heart, and I just thank you for being on here and sharing and
Thank you.
allowing us to, you know,
Thank you.
into that part of your very,
Yeah.
it's very, it's close to the heart, mother's heart, because our kids are our heart.
They are.
It's
They are.
it's very sensitive. So I greatly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Um, what brings you joy these days?
Hmm. It's a great question. It's so funny how grief changes you,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that used to bring you joy, they don't anymore.
No,
Not for me.
I got you.
Um, and joy, in a sense, is sometimes so overrated,
Mm-hmm.
but it's little things for me.
I was gonna say the same thing.
It's little
Yeah,
things,
things
you
that
know.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I know on New Year's Day I saw a grasshopper, and we had spent some time, a few days at a hotel staycation with my granddaughters, and at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the staycation, I saw a grasshopper, and it was just the whole idea of seeing a grasshopper
Mm-hmm.
on New Year's Day,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew like that was something.
It was a sign.
Yes.
Yes.
And some people would call it superstitious. I don't. I look at things when I see a dragonfly
Mm-hmm.
because I know that's my son.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I see a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
that's my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's little things.
Same for me.
Yeah, it's little
Yeah,
things.
just being peaceful in my home and
Yes,
quiet and listening
absolutely.
to music, having my grandkids over and
Absolutely.
is
The grands.
yeah, I have two grandgirls
Yeah,
and they remind me so much of him. They each are different but still like
yeah,
have his face and his
yeah,
personality and
yeah,
I just thank God for them and
yeah.
enjoy them so much.
I say that. I say I have one granddaughter that looks like him
Mhm.
and one that acts like him. Although the one that looks like him is now starting to act like more like him.
Is she really?
Yes, very much so.
So
She doesn't even realize it,
that's
I think, but
great. Mhm.
very much so.
Mhm.
But they are definitely a reflection of him,
Yes.
in so many ways. And even this holiday,
Mhm.
we did some family photos.
Mhm.
And
I saw them. They were so
yes,
nice.
to know Michon and the Landry families, to know that we've been doing family photos since the kids were little,
Mhm.
and I've been married 36 years now.
Mhm.
And Ellis was 31 when he passed, but we have been doing photos for years.
Mhm.
And then the last time we did family photos was in 2014
Mhm.
when my youngest granddaughter was born. I had some grief hit then,
Yeah.
and we stopped, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
because that was a tradition that I kept going, and we stopped.
Mhm.
And so to redo those and recreate, my husband had the idea of recreating one of my favorite photos that we have standing in front of our door with me and Alex and Ellis and Chelsea and my husband David.
Mhm.
And what we did was use the girls in his place,
Mhm.
Um, and, they were a representation of him. That was so healing for my heart.
Yes.
So healing for my heart. And so that was special. And so there are just moments, little things that make a difference.
Absolutely. I also, on my son's birthday, Jimmy's birthday, me and the girls take pictures every year,
Mm,
and they look forward to it. They're like,
yeah.
Gigi, what color are we wearing this year? And what are our
Yes.
outfits? To create
Love that.
a beautiful memory and
I love
honor. So that's
that. I love
beautiful.
that.
Mhm.
And it's important to honor them and keep their memory alive and
Mhm.
keep them, part of us.
Mhm.
I know I paint my nails a shade of blue every October for his
I read
birthday.
that in the article that you wrote. That article was awesome.
I do. I mean, that's my connection. That's my
Mm.
way of connecting with them. And
Yes.
everybody may have a different way of connecting
Mhm.
with their loved ones, but that's my way of
Mhm.
connecting.
Mhm.
And I know, he loves it. I
Mhm.
know, before I even go in there, I talk with him. I say, okay, so what are we doing today?
Mhm.
What are we doing? So yeah,
That's beautiful. I
yeah.
know I have this bracelet that he gave me,
Mm-hmm.
and I hardly ever take it off. This gold bracelet, and it just
Mm,
I look at it, and you know that's Jim.
mm,
It's little things like that. So
yeah.
I completely understand. Okay. Do you have triggers, and how do you handle them?
mm, mm,
Because they,
mm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know, um, it's funny because this is very personal, but I'm sharing it.
Yes, and on your comfort level, you
Right,
know what I
it's
mean?
very,
Like,
but I have a shower gel
hmm
that smells like the funeral home.
mm,
I mean, it is a kind of like a persimmon kind of scent.
hmm
And every time I use it, it reminds me of the funeral.
hmm
And some days that is a triggering in a good way,
hmm
and some days it's a triggering in a Today I use that because I wanted to feel and have him close to me.
Okay.
But it's little things sometimes.
hmm
Sometimes it's a song
hmm
or
A
a
smell.
smell, right?
Same. hmm
It's sometimes it's nothing at all. You could just
Yeah. Just wake
have
up.
a moment,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
And so I remember when I first started having the grief triggers.
hmm
And it's like, what is this?
And it just hits you all of like you can be just fine, and then all of a sudden you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, what
hmm
is this?
hmm
But it is real. And yeah. And like I said, it just comes out of nowhere.
hmm Yes.
So to say what any particular one is,
Just depending on the day
just
or
depending on the
the
day.
day.
Yeah.
hmm What is? How do you feel about people saying it was God's will,
Mm,
or
mm,
that one?
mm,
I still kind
mm.
of
Yeah.
I struggle with, especially
Yeah.
when I feel like someone has never
Yeah.
dealt with the loss of a child. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how do you answer that?
Yeah. So I think that there is a there is an opportunity, I'm
hmm
going to say it this way,
Okay.
for people to learn and understand
hmm
that when people are navigating grief, um, imposing religious beliefs upon them
hmm
or any other type of belief upon them is very, very difficult and triggering to hear.
It is.
And until you've experienced it, you don't know. You
hmm
just don't. I think they're trying to help in their own way.
Yes.
Um, and that's why even this year, at the beginning of the year, even when I caught myself saying Happy New Year, I stopped and I said, you know what? Let me retract that
hmm
because not everyone is happy at the new year. I
No.
said, so blessings for the new year, right? But not everyone's happy at the new year.
I like that.
Yeah,
So blessings.
not everyone is merry at Christmas, right?
No.
So it's like let's change some of the things that we say
Mhm.
so that we are being more empathetic to others
Mhm.
because we don't know when we're passing people how they're feeling or what they're going through.
Right.
And so even just the change of wording sometimes
Mhm.
can make a difference, you know? Um, but to answer your question, I think that there is a huge opportunity for people to just become more aware and um, have more grief informed literacy, is
I
what I
think so.
call it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Because and on the other hand, I had some people tell me I don't know what to say,
yes,
and so they tend to stay away
yep,
or don't call, and
yep,
I found that that was also very hurtful.
yep,
So
yep, yep.
yeah, it's just
Well, and even for me, I have a friend who's had a significant amount of loss, different types of losses.
hmm
But even for me, every time something would happen, it was like shocking.
hmm
And it was like, oh yeah, but Mishan, you had you had your share too. You forget, right?
hmm
And it's like, oh, but that's how people must have felt because I felt it,
yeah
you know.
hmm
And I get it; it's normal.
yes,
But nonetheless, there are things that we can do.
I think so.
Yeah, reaching out just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Man, that's huge.
Huge,
Yeah, I even told, even if it's
huge.
an emoji, a prayer, like
Right,
just something like
right.
that's
It
huge.
is.
Because
It's huge.
you feel alone because again after everything has happened, the funeral, and you're left, and you have to, that's when the reality, that's when it really like, okay, this is my new normal,
Yep.
and you're trying to make sense of your new normal,
Yeah.
if you can,
Yeah.
I always say sometimes just getting out of bed
Hmm.
and just doing the
Hmm.
everyday things of brushing your teeth
Hmm.
and putting on clothes and going to work, and
Yep.
then you have your other children and
Hmm.
you have your job and you have your bills and life, and because it doesn't
Life.
stop.
It doesn't stop.
It does
Not at
not.
all. It
Does
doesn't stop.
no.
Life keeps lifing,
It does. And
and we are expected to continue with it.
hmm
But a big part of our life has been changed so drastically.
hmm yeah. Do we have any questions? Anything right now?
Oh, we have people. Oh, I didn't even
I
notice.
just share.
I didn't even notice.
She's. Oh. Do you know
Oh,
who that
thank
is?
you. Oh, yes, Jetty. Hey,
Hey. What's her name?
Jetty.
Hi, Jetty. Thank you for watching, tuning
That's so sweet.
in. That's very sweet.
Yes.
Very, very sweet.
Yes.
No questions? Okay. We're gonna, yes, please, if you are viewing in the podcast and you have any questions for me or Mishan, please go to the comment section and we will
Yeah.
ask them as best as we can.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I noticed you call yourself the grief alchemist.
Hmm.
Tell us.
Well, and I laugh because even with that,
hmm
I got a lot of grief about that.
Really?
Yes. I got a lot of grief from people who I love dearly,
Hmm.
and that they felt that it might be some sort of witchcraft or magic or, and it's like, no, look up the word alchemist. Look up the
Goodness. Are you
definition. No,
serious?
I did. And it wasn't I think sometimes our religious views can keep us from seeing other
It keeps us in a
things.
box. What's that saying? You're so, something about you're so religious, you're no earthly good. Like people are
Hmm.
just so like,
Yeah.
you know?
But that's our culture also.
Mm-hmm.
Our culture has been has been very embedded in a lot of religious beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that has harmed us more than it's helped us.
I agree.
And I am a person of faith. There were two things that I said when I lost my 10 loved ones in 10 months that I wouldn't do. I said I wouldn't get angry with God, and I wouldn't shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean that God and I have not had some very deep and long conversations?
Mm-hmm.
We have. My relationship with God has changed in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
He's still my father,
Mm-hmm.
but it's changed,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
But I think that just even the name was not received by those who I thought or wanted for it to be received by, and that hurt a
Yeah.
lot. Um, because it wasn't something that came from me. I didn't just make it up,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It was coming from your heart.
It's coming from my
Because I
heart.
feel that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And even when it came, it was just like, what is this? And so I did research
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want.
Sure.
But yeah, but it is something that is still, and that's what I love about the grief journey. I can say
Mm-hmm.
is that I am. It's like pulling layers of what's something you pull besides a banana, because a banana doesn't have as many layers. Maybe an artichoke,
Okay.
when you peel an
The
artichoke,
layers. You feel
the
like the
layers.
layers are
Yeah,
peeling. Uh-huh.
there are so many layers that I feel like I am unpilling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like I'm here for the journey myself, because I don't know. Like this time last year, I was just coming off a sabbatical. I had no idea that I would be starting the Grief Journey Company
Mm-hmm.
or doing live videos or being doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I was just focused on my book.
Where are you?
That was what I was doing. And I just see now how, as I take
Mm-hmm.
steps, God is just leading me in different ways. And so I'm just being obedient and follow.
Same.
Yeah.
This is definitely out of my comfort zone. Just
Yeah.
starting the podcast. You have we have a question from
Okay.
Jetty. She said,
Okay, Jetty.
"How do you manage the anxiety that comes with grief?"
Hmm. You know, um, that is a great question. I always say, number one, there is no way that for me personally, I think that I could have gone through these experiences without the support of my grief therapist, the grief groups that I did, and the tools that I learned from that, and my current healing coach. I see my healing coach, as I call her, every 2 weeks like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, I'll miss a session or have to reschedule, but I'm seeing her Monday, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
That is so important for me,
Mm-hmm.
because it gives me the outlet that I need to be able to um, have honest conversations
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm not bottling up anxiety and stress and things of that. And that doesn't mean that doesn't happen. We were just talking about,
Yes.
I had a breakout during the holidays because of some stress and a stressful situation that I went through. But I also know that I have tools, I have breathing exercise, I
Mm-hmm.
have different things that I can do
Mm-hmm.
in order to alleviate that anxiety and that stress. Now, does it happen like I always want it to? Nope. But I keep practicing and I just don't give up and I just keep at it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. I hope that answered, Jetty.
Yes. Someone is Deanna L. Harrison.
Oh,
She
my,
says,
my old neighbor.
"Oh, she says I want to thank Miss Shaun for her continued support.
Mm,
Her son Ellis and my son Parker were close friends. I lost my daughter Parker's sister,
mm-hmm.
7 months ago. Miss
Yeah.
Shaun truly practices, helps me get through." Wow, look how you're. See,
it brings you, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish everyone could experience something like this because it brings you a level of empathy
Grace.
to other people
Mm.
like you've never felt before.
Mm-hmm.
And we need more of that in the world.
We do.
Um, you show more grace to not only yourself, that's important, but to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see things so differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you see things so differently.
My sons even told me I had them on here because I wanted to get their point of view
I love that.
and just how they expressed, even through this, the growth. And I just know that I am more patient. I listen more. Um, Again, I see life through a completely different
Mm,
lens. Um, yeah, I'm definitely more empathetic to people
mm-hmm.
because you never know what they're going through.
True.
I just remember even before starting the podcast, opening up different social media platforms and just seeing there's so many people dealing with grief and
Oh,
all kinds of,
tons.
and I'm like, Lord, and it just put on my heart, I'm not a professional, I'm not a
Yeah,
counselor or a therapist, but I'm a mother that lost a son
that's
and
right.
I want to be able to help and
That's right.
create a place where we can come and talk and,
Yep.
you know, extend that branch of I see you, I love
Yep.
you. If
Yep.
there's anything I can do to help,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that that in itself is so important
Mhm.
um, in the journey
Mhm.
of grief because grief is so isolating
Mhm.
that you need other people and you need that support, you know? And like you said, it's a crazy amount of people who are grieving.
Quite a few.
Crazy. But it was not on my radar.
Mine either.
It was not on my radar
Mine
until
either.
it happened to me. And that's the unfortunate part about it.
Yes.
Um, but and I'm not just talking about loss of a child or
Mhm.
loss of a loved one. Grief is loss of anything significant.
Mhm.
Whether it's a relationship, a job,
Mhm.
could be a home. I've talked to people who've lost homes.
Mhm.
Could be just so many things that people grieve.
Mhm.
You know, um, I know, you know, when I sought out grief therapy,
Mhm.
it was because of the fact that I knew with the loss
Mhm.
that I couldn't sweep it under the rug anymore. I couldn't
Mm-mm.
sweep this, what I have been able to cope with in the
Mhm.
past,
Mhm.
under the rug. I knew that this was like, mm-mm, got to do something different because what I had been doing,
Mhm.
that's not going to work for this.
Same.
And then that's when I learned, oh, well, I grieved the failed surgeries, two failed surgeries, as a
Mhm.
matter of fact.
Mhm.
Oh, I've grieved this. Oh, I've grieved that.
Mhm.
And never really, really grieved it, but experienced the grief. I remember as a child, my biological dad was killed when I was only one, just a little over one.
Mhm.
And I remember as a child crying. I never knew him, but I remember crying.
Mhm.
But that was grief, for not knowing my dad, and not, I had a great relationship with my cousins, Anthony and, Jan or Michael, sorry, growing up and with my grandmother and my aunt,
Mhm.
but I never knew my dad, and that loss and not knowing that, that's grief, so I
Same.
remember even as a child grieving, but not knowing I was grieving. And so there is, when I talk about literacy, there's
Mhm.
so much opportunity for us to have more literacy
Mhm.
about grief um, in general, you know.
I grew up without knowing who my dad was. that was a whole journey and a long story. But
Mhm.
when I saw my dad's picture
Mm.
and I saw his face,
Mhm.
I knew without a shadow of a doubt, like, I have his face.
Mhm.
And then, meeting my brothers and,
Mm.
then they told me, he was already
Mm.
deceased. I had to grieve that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I did, and look at my whole adult life and was on this journey. And,
Mm.
but I thank God for my brothers, and
Mhm.
they're just awesome. And
Mhm.
getting to know you, I feel like we're family, we're cousins.
We are. We're cousins. Technically,
Yeah,
we are.
we are.
That's
So
right.
I thank God. I just truly do.
Yes.
Truly do.
Yes.
Looks like Miss Chet. She says that's where I am. I'm in search of a counselor now.
Mm.
Well, I look. I can definitely share mine if you
Mhm.
want to share
Mhm.
yours, because it
Mhm.
it helps. Like you, I knew that what was in front of me, I could not handle on my own.
Yeah.
And one of my clients told me about my grief counselor. Her name is Tanya, Dr.
Okay.
Tanya
Oh
Cunningham. I don't know if you're
yes.
familiar with
Yep,
her.
I am. I listened to her all the time when I was
Yes,
going through my grief,
she's
even with
amazing.
my counselor.
Really? Yes,
Yes.
yes.
She's so amazing.
Yeah, and that's like you. That's an appointment. I don't care
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
I make that appointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's truly helped me get to the other side
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. It's funny because even when I was seeing a therapist, and my therapist referred me to my first grief therapist,
Mm-hmm.
and then one of my, I'm going to call her social media friends,
Mm-hmm.
told me about the grief groups that I went through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't even realize going through grief therapy initially,
Mm-hmm.
like how much it was like helping me,
Mm-hmm.
because you're just like, for me, after I lost my son, I lost my cousin, I lost my pastor, I lost my mom. On
You
my late son's birthday, I
mm-hmm.
lost my dad 2 days after burying my mom.
How many people did you lose in that amount of time?
10,
10 people.
10,
In
in
how many?
10 months.
In 10
In 10
months.
months. Yep.
Jesus.
My mom's close friend of 40 years, which is very, very good friend of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Her children are like cousins almost to me. They're so close. I love
Mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
my husband's best friend of 30 years, and then a close colleague. And so it was like before I could even
Process.
process
Mm-hmm.
one, another was happening, and then another, and then another, and then another. And so for that first, and then not to mention all of the things that go with, you know, the loss, the
Mm-hmm.
funerals,
Mm-hmm.
for my parents,
Mm-hmm.
the probate,
Mm-hmm.
the house,
Mm-hmm.
all of those other things. Like,
Yes.
it is so much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And so, going to therapy, it was there and it was supportive, but I don't think I could process it until after,
Everything.
like, everything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then really kind of reflect back on that journey.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of writing. I started writing when my son Ellis died,
Like journaling.
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 Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went on my sabbatical last year, or in 24, because we're in 26,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of 24, I had an opportunity to go through my writings. And there were so many things that I wrote that I didn't even remember, because I
Mm-hmm.
wrote so much. And
Mm.
so,
I love the fact that but you were still letting it out.
oh yeah,
Because man, journaling is huge. Yeah.
yes, that was a therapy for me in
Yes.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
And some days it would be a page, and other days it would just be a sentence.
Same.
But it was a way for me to process and to get out what was up here
Mm-hmm.
down into paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so journaling was important for me, and I've always loved writing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would share on social media sometimes things that I wanted to, because that was another way for me to process and get out what I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't for attention or for anything other than I've got to get this out of me.
Right.
You know, yeah,
That's healing.
it is.
What would you say to the person that feels like, because there's also that stigma of, like you said, sweeping under the rug. They don't want to see a counselor. Like, what would you tell a person dealing with grief that I guess is more going through isolation?
Mm, yeah.
Hmm. What would be your words of encouragement or wisdom to them?
I would say that isolation does not help anyone. And there are resources, there are people, there are tools, there are things that can help.
Hmm.
And as hard as it is, I think it's so important to tap into those things.
Hmm.
Um, I remember the day that I was laying in bed. My dad had passed. This was number 7,
Hmm.
death number 7. He had passed, and I was laying in bed. And I remember thinking to myself, and I was saying to myself, Mishon, if you don't get out of this bed, I don't know when you will. And it was because depression had set in, and I didn't
Oh.
even recognize
Hmm.
that depression had set in. But I just knew that if I did not get out of the bed that day, I really don't know
Hmm.
when I would have.
Yes.
And so I got up out of the bed. I remember getting out of the bed. And it was shortly thereafter that I was talking to my grief
Hmm.
therapist. And I remember her saying to me, Mishan, because I told her, I said, I feel so numb. And she said, even numbness is an emotion, Mishan.
Mm.
And so there are emotions that we carry and things that we carry that are so important, but because of grief brain and grief triggers and isolation and loss, we don't even recognize it because we don't recognize ourselves.
No.
And so sometimes just having that person to help you and to tell you things,
Hmm.
because you need that in the process. You need that because you can't see. It's almost like you're walking around with blinders on.
That grief
And so
brain
you
is
need
true.
someone who can guide you,
Hmm.
right? And help you through that journey,
Hmm.
um, until you can start to see for yourself, um, and take the blinders off, like you said. And I think that's what, the grief groups do. That's what grief therapists do.
Hmm.
They support us in those ways. And so um, I know everybody gets there at their own time. So it would be, I don't want to say, it would be hard for me to try and give that advice to
Hmm.
someone because everybody's on their own personal journey.
That's true.
But I also say that there's that support that's there, and
Whenever they're ready.
when they're ready,
Hmm.
yeah, I I would hope that they would use that. And like I said, I tell people all the time. I was telling a young lady who I met Tuesday who lost her mother. Now it's 11 days ago. And, I said, I have a toolkit that I created with resources and tools and just wonderful things, like, because I picked it up along the way.
Hmm.
And it's like, just give me your email. I can email it to you.
Right, right.
Therapy for children, therapy for, I mean, all kinds of different resources, because I felt like I needed that for me.
Hmm.
I needed to have that. And so I've created that, and it's free. So if anybody wants it, just reach out, and let me know, because I'm happy to send it to you. Because I felt like I had to search and look for, and
Exactly.
right. And so it's like, I don't want people to have to feel like they have to do that
Yes.
and grieve, because the grief is just hard enough
By itself, and
by
then
itself.
trying to find you get to a point where like I'm just not even gonna,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to be able to ease that,
Mhm.
and it's not everything, but it's a lot, and it's more than probably what you had, so
Yes.
I do that.
Mm.
um I do the Mother's Day
Mhm.
remembrance, because as a mother like yourself who's lost a child, Mother's Day is hard.
It's really hard.
Mother's Day is hard.
Yeah.
Losing my mom, Mother's Day is hard. My mom was one of my best friends.
Mhm.
It's hard. And so to have a space and a place where people can come together
Mhm.
and feel connected in a way, I think is important.
I do too. That's beautiful that you created that.
Yeah.
Yes. So beautiful. Mm. I ask you. I know. Look, we've been on here.
I
We didn't
know.
even take a break. We've been. Any more questions
Mm.
or not right now? Okay. Should we look? We I don't even look, and I still have just a few more
What
questions. This
did
is
Derek
look.
say?
Look, we need a part two. Look, we just getting started, getting warmed up here. What was I about to ask you? Like with your grandchildren, how do you help them with their grief? Because my
Mm.
granddaughters, especially the younger one, definitely shows hers more outwardly. Like the older one, she's more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Kinsley, she's she may draw a picture or something or on Father's Day, but Delia, the youngest one, she definitely outwardly just Christmas this year she goes to grief counseling, and she was happy. We were all there, and at the end they do a ceremony where you take your loved one's picture and you put it on the stairs. You get up
Mm.
and talk, and I can't get up and not get emotional as much
Mm.
as I try to be all So the emotions came. So I don't know if that overstimulated her. So
Mm.
when it was time for us to go, because I had to take Kinsley home, her mom had to get her home, and Michael, my ex-husband, was there. I've never seen her do this. Cried for
Mm.
30
Mm.
minutes. And even then, I hated leaving her.
Yeah.
And finally, her mom's like, I just got to drive off because she's not going to stop.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I tried to, cuddle her. Maybe it's going to, but it's still,
Yeah.
how do you?
Yeah. 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 So I will tell you that I have my youngest granddaughter
Hmm.
who loves to see pictures of her dad and talk about her dad,
Hmm.
just have that connection.
Hmm.
And then my oldest is still, very reserved, and
I wonder, is that an older sibling? Because like my
maybe,
oldest granddaughter, like she's very like that.
I don't know, maybe I know this Christmas their mom um did the sweetest thing. I loved it. She had her beautiful Christmas tree, purple and gold, and she had some white ornaments, but she had a dove that represented Ellis on the tree,
Hmm.
and that was beautiful.
Hmm.
And so I think even children, like adults, they grieve differently
Hmm.
also, and they handle this journey very, very personal and very uniquely,
Hmm.
right? Um, I'm looking at putting them in a camp this summer
Hmm.
that another friend told me about, actually,
Hmm.
for children who are grieving. And so, Yaya needs to get back on there because I've started the application and haven't finished it, so I need to get that finished.
Okay.
But I'm praying that that will be helpful for
Mhm.
them as well. And then just to have the community
Mhm.
of other children who have experienced grief and loss. I
Mhm.
know, what's the place in Fort Worth? Um, Ryan Place, is that right?
Right place. I've never heard of that one.
Oh,
The one my granddaughter goes to, it's not too far from JPS off of Hemp
yes,
Hill.
that's it.
Is
That's
that
one.
it? It's a
What is
church.
that called?
Oh my goodness, Lord.
Okay,
Look,
we'll
I
come
will.
back to. Right, we'll put it in the chat.
We
We'll
will
put
put
it
it
in
in the
the
chat.
chat because I cannot
Yes.
think of it, but there's a great one. Matter of
Hmm.
fact, no, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone
Please do.
because
Yes.
I just saw where they were looking for grief volunteers, and I put it in my phone
Okay.
because while I don't have capacity for that right now, I said I would love to do that at some point.
For sure.
Um, but yes, I'll look at it while we're looking for that.
Okay.
So you keep talking.
Okay. Any more questions in the chat? Anything? No. Yes. Are there any more questions for me or Mishan? At this point,
Hmm.
please add them to the chat. That would be awesome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please. Look, come on.
Look, can I ask
Let's
you a question?
go. Let's
What has
go.
been the most healing thing for you?
Wow. The most healing thing for me. Wow, that's a good question. Most healing thing I think is forgiving myself. I think I
Mm,
carried a huge amount of guilt because as a mom, you want to save and
mm,
protect. And again, I was
mm,
trying to get to him, and the fact that I couldn't do that, um, I had this guilt and shame on me.
mm,
And I just think through time and prayer and counseling, I've released that.
mhm,
Even my because I have two counselors. I have my grief counselor for
mhm,
my grief, and I have
mhm,
my normal counselor.
mhm.
And she's like, Cherie, there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah,
But in my mind,
yeah,
because I'm a nurturer,
yeah,
I love hard,
yeah.
especially my kids.
Oh
There's
yeah,
nothing I would not do for them.
yeah,
And the fact that I could not save him,
yeah.
and so I definitely I had to let that go.
Mhm. I think that speaks to my non-negotiables that I talked about earlier.
Hmm.
The shoulda, coulda, woulda,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And don't get me wrong, I have definitely should have. Well, I could have, or
yeah,
I maybe if I would have, right? I've
yes,
done that.
uh huh,
But when I do, I stop myself.
uh
Like
huh,
I remember, no, we're not going
mm-hmm.
down there because it can take you down a
Ooh,
path.
it's a rabbit hole.
It can take you down a path, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yes,
So and I said those two things, my non-negotiables, like on day 3
mm-hmm.
after losing Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I just knew that it would not be good for my healing
Mm-hmm.
long term.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the capacity
Mm-hmm.
to know that
Okay,
and to say that and verbalize that. And
yeah,
so for me throughout this journey, those have been the two things that I've said, nope, I'm not going to do that. It's funny that you mentioned the forgiveness. I want to read something. I
mm-hmm.
still haven't found the.
Okay, we'll put it in the
And
chat.
if anyone in the chat knows, you can put it in the chat for us.
Yes. Okay.
But so it's interesting you talk about forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's so interesting also because I don't know how, but I knew I was going to read this on this podcast, which is why I brought my phone over.
Okay. Hey,
Remember, I said I'm going to read
you
something. I
did.
did,
You did. Please do.
and so I wrote this today.
Okay.
Um, and I guess, and that's why I say also when I share things, I feel like they're not just for me, they're for others,
Hmm.
right? But I wrote today, I said, I forgive you for what you did. This is something I wrote to someone today, by the way. I forgive you for what you did. I've been deeply hurt and shaken by it. Yep. Um, sorry. I forgive you for what you did. I've been deeply hurt and shaken by it because I trusted you. And when that trust broke, it left me feeling upset, anxious, confused, and wounded in ways I didn't expect. But I don't want to carry those heavy feelings with me anymore. I'm choosing to let them go so that I can breathe again, so that I can make space for peace instead of pain. I don't want to live my life full of those emotions, so I'm releasing them and letting go of the past. Forgiveness and forgetting are two different things. While forgiveness can say I release what happened and I'm choosing not to carry the weight of it anymore, forgetting would mean pretending it never happened or didn't matter. And I won't do that. What happened mattered, it changed things, and I'm not erasing the impact but loosening the grip on the hurt so it no longer controls me.
Hmm.
Forgiving you doesn't mean the trust automatically returns. It doesn't mean everything goes back to the way it was. It simply means I'm choosing peace over resentment, clarity over confusion, and healing over holding on to pain. Forgetting would mean denying that truth of what I felt, and I won't do that to myself. I can acknowledge the hurt and still choose healing. I'm forgiving you, but I'm also honoring what this taught me. I can forgive you and still remember what this clarified for me. I can forgive you and still protect my heart. I can forgive you and still move forward differently. I'm moving forward with a clearer understanding of my boundaries. This is me choosing healing. This is me choosing softness for myself. And what happens next is something time will reveal. But for now, I'm giving myself permission to let go and grow.
That's beautiful.
And I think that for me, in
Hmm.
writing that,
Hmm.
um, it was just that.
Hmm.
It wasn't so much about the person and what they'd done,
Hmm.
but me not holding on to it, because that holding on to it was causing me more pain and more heartache, and more futility.
Hmm.
And I don't need that in my life.
Amen.
I don't need that in my life. And so I wrote that. And like I said, I just knew that there was some place that I would read that. I don't
Thank
know how,
you.
but I knew.
Thank you. I
Um,
needed to hear that.
okay.
It was like a confirmation. With my son passing away, there was like some like legal stuff, and
Mm,
even the girl he was with. And I had an opportunity to talk and meet with her, but I felt if I did, it wasn't good for my heart,
yeah.
and it wasn't gonna bring him back.
Yeah.
And even me pursuing all this legal stuff, and
Yeah.
I had to let that go because I couldn't heal and move forward.
Yeah.
So truly, to answer the I think forgiving myself,
Yeah.
even forgiving, because I feel like I was angry with my son for putting himself in that
Mm,
situation. So many layers of emotion and forgiveness,
yeah.
and that I did everything that I knew to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I do.
so
I do.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. We have to be kind to ourselves.
We
So
do. We do. It's important.
truly, yeah, we went over
We did. We have to give
DLS.
ourselves grace.
We do, we
That was
do.
something my therapist taught me that day when I was getting up out of bed, and she asked me, "What grace have you extended yourself, Michon?" We
Mm-hmm.
extend grace to other people, but we don't often extend grace to
Selves.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's important in this journey, is
Mm-hmm.
to remember to give yourself grace, grace in every moment.
That's where we're gonna end.
That's where we're ending.
Give yourself grace. We thank you so much for tuning in to this episode
Mm,
of A Mother's Heart. And if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the chat. We will get back to you and answer those. Michonne is going to give that information. We'll
yes,
look it up and we can
yes,
add
and
that
put
in
it in the
there.
chat.
Do you have anything you want to close with or your information about your grief stuff that you're doing?
I will just share this one thing. I have started at the beginning of the year on January 1st, which was on a Thursday. So, the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m., I am hosting a virtual grief healing circle. And so, it is a compassionate space for individuals who are experiencing grief to come together. And we meet once a month. It's on Eventbrite, and I will put the link in the chat as well.
Okay.
It's on my grief journey page and probably on my regular pages also.
Mm,
But I invite those who are navigating grief to join us. Yeah, because I feel like at nothing more, once a month, that support that's there.
it's huge.
Yeah.
I think it was just she said thank. She did the clapping and she said wonderful.
Thank you for joining, Jetty and
Thank
Deanna, and
you. Thank
whoever else I can't see.
yes.
So,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining.
Yes. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If anyone else would like to be on the podcast, we would love to have you. Feel free to message us or email at amothersheart.com. Also, sponsorship. If you would like to sponsor, we would love to have you. That's also something you just message or email amothersheart.com. It was great, Michonne. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
you taking time
having
out your
me.
day. And
Thank
man,
you.
love you so much. Thank
Love you
you.
too. Thank
And
you.
yeah, all right. Until next time, guys. Peace, peace and love. Bye.